I'm going to officially open the Boxborough Zoning Board of Appeals hearing for August 20th, 2024. The time is now 7:33 p.m. and I'm going to do a roll call vote for a roll call to see who's present at this meeting. So please acknowledge your name when I call you. Mark White.
White present.
Sean McCormick.
McCormick present.
Michael Toops.
Michael Toops present.
Stefano.
Stefano Caprara present.
Is there anyone else that I'm missing?
Dan.
And
Dan, are you here?
I am.
All
so
right.
Dan Stunn's present, alternate.
Dan Stunn's present. Thanks, Dan. So this is going to be I think a really short meeting, and I apologize. This might have been my misunderstanding of how we were going to move forward, but I was just told by Alec that Stefano gave comments on the beginnings of the draft rules and regs. So I appreciate that, Stefano. I think I'm not sure if the board members are ready to take on what I thought was our original scope, which was each of us was going to take a few pages and try and merge the two documents. And it's a big time commitment, and I totally understand if members don't want to do that. But I did want to offer that I'm certainly willing to do it and bring it back to the board. I think you guys saw last time that I'll put notes when I'm adding something that is not in either set of rules and regs. I will put a note and say, this is my idea. And you guys can feel free to shoot it down or add to it or modify it. And I'm willing to do that. I'd like to create a working group that would not be subject to open meeting law, just so we could move quickly. So if the board wants us to proceed that route, we can do that. That would be Alec, myself, and one other member of the board, or alternatively, the board could choose 2 members and not me and work with Alec. Any of the above is fine with me, because I don't need to do the extra work if no one wants me to do it. I'm just throwing it out there that I'm willing to. So how does the board want to proceed with this, if they want to proceed? I just spoke to Alec, and he can speak for himself. Alec thinks that it's a worthy endeavor to update our rules and regs. And if you guys do as well, then we can move forward. So, and any thoughts, board?
Mr. Chair, I'll jump in. I think it's a good idea, and I would volunteer to be on the working group. I have read the rules and regulations for many different towns, and I think I have a good sense of some things that would work, and I've already started formatting it in the Word document. So for those 3 reasons.
Well, I think those are 3 good reasons. So the question is, and I would certainly vote to nominate you to be on the working group. The question is there anyone else who wants to be on a working group, or is there anyone who has reservations about moving forward in this direction?
I have no reservations. I mean, and I have no problem with you guys doing the working group. I thought at the last meeting, and I could be wrong, because this has been a weird thing, because we came at it initially with the thought of breaking it out into subsections, and we were all going to go through it, and then how we would accomplish the merge, and then somewhere in there, I got the impression that the document that we got in the packet today, which was the most recent one, was a full merge of the 2 that you had done, Mark, earlier. And so I kind of went through it, and I said, well, okay, why am I going to go through my section explicitly when you've gone through all of them? So I started from the top and went kind of to the bottom. And so so I'm unclear because we're trying to take two documents and push them together. It was a little challenging, frankly, when I first started to do my section. I said, well, I'm not going to just merge these things together and say, here you go. I was trying to say, well, okay, well, this came from here and that came from there. And I think this should probably go here and that should go there. But I didn't want to say that without the rest of the board saying, well, yeah, that's a good idea. And a lot of it was kind of gnarly enough that I really didn't feel, sufficient to do it by myself. So I'm happy to let you guys do it because, I mean, both Mark and Sean are, and Stefano, I mean, you're all kind of capable in your own ways. And so I trust you to do a good job of merging them together. And then we can come back and look at the product and say whether, I mean, it's easier that way. If somebody just takes it, runs with it, and then we come back and nitpick it.
Well, I think we're all capable of doing it. So I'm fine with any of the above. Even Stefano, who says he doesn't want to do it, I think is capable of doing it.
I don't want to do it either. So,
but what I didn't want to do, because I actually think the only way to get it done is to just kind of jam it together and then have you guys look at it and then decide. I'm not trying to, I don't want to get everybody aggravated. I just want to move it forward. So happy to do it, but Sean's volunteered and I'm going to let Stefano have the floor. He raised his hand first. So go ahead, Stefano.
Yeah, so just in general, my experience with these things, and I don't have the background that Sean and Mark have with this. I mean, I do read a lot of contracts and legal verbiage, but I mean, I think understanding other towns and seeing how other towns work is very valuable here, right? So I think I agree, and I'm happy that both of you have kind of volunteered to put some extra effort in here. In general, when reviewing a legal document, I find it hard to piecemeal like putting something together because I know this is weird to say, but the drafter kind of has an idea of how things flow. And so, me reviewing the last 3 pages, and that's what I think we should all send our comments to this working group for them to review. But, in general, when you have a working document, what I write on page 1 might come full circle to how I reference something in page 15. And when it's in my head and it's just easier for everything to tie together. I think in general, when the 5 people try to put something together, it's just going to feel like a Frankenstein document. So having said that, once something is presented to the board, happy to go through and comment and throw bombs in and from afar.
Absolutely. And it has to be the boards, right? So it really is going to take a majority vote of the board, but hopefully it'll be a unanimous vote. So hopefully when we put it together, it looks like what you're looking for. And again, and I think Sean will too, is if I put in an idea that is not a piece of the regulations that we're merging, then I'm going to let you know that I put that in and why. So I'm trying to do a good faith merger with the 2 documents. Michael.
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy. Somebody needs to take point. A minor comment. Be sure to download the docx and open it in Word because otherwise the comments are not showing up in the Google Docs universe. At least not on the web version. I don't know if the comments show up otherwise. There are a variety of sections that have been commented by various people in the original document. So those are highlights for some things that are going to need to be done. I don't know if there's any comments we might want to review just quickly to decide, because there may be some areas that border on possibly policy decisions or whatever that need to be thought about carefully as the document's actually turned into a real draft. But I think I'm perfectly happy somebody needs to take the point to turn this into a cohesive document as opposed to piecemeal object. Over.
Okay, thanks. Alec.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. So, as Michael was mentioning, the different versions of it sometimes have comments that get misconstrued or misaligned. One of the things that I do is I keep all of the various drafts and commenting drafts in their native format. So we have the original copies where everything belongs where it should be. We keep those records as that is a matter of open or a matter of records law. The other thing that the Zoning Board of Appeals will experience, same thing that the Planning Board is going to see at an upcoming public hearing when they ultimately hold the hearing and revise their own rules and regs. I generate a log of the various meetings where it was discussed, a summary of the changes that were made, and to the extent that we're doing an offline working group, I'll continue to do that as we bounce iterations back and forth.
Okay, thanks, Alec. So Sean has expressed an interest and I have expressed a willingness. So is there someone else who would rather do it? Like I said, I actually think everybody on this board is qualified to do this job. So it's a question of, do you want to invest your nights and weekends in this sort of thing? And I totally get it if you don't want to. So is there anybody who would like to work on this other than Sean? Because it sounds like Sean's in. So anybody else? Okay, so I'm hearing none. So I'm going to work with Sean and Alec, and we'll come up with a draft. And I think we'll table, unless the board feels otherwise, we'll table the meetings on this until we have a complete draft. Or if the working group feels we need to bring pieces of it to the board to get it looked over. And I'll leave it to Alec, but there is a potential that Alec could also have a draft that he could release to the board, whenever they want. I don't know how that works with open meeting law, so I'm going to leave that to Alec. But what we could do is we could work on the draft, and then if you guys, hey, Alec, why don't you? I'm requesting a copy of the, most updated draft, and then if that doesn't violate open meeting law, Alec can give it to you, and you could look it over.
Yeah, the easiest way to do this, I'm just going to start a page on the ZBA's website here. And Mr. Chairperson, whenever you instruct me to upload the latest version of the draft, I'll go ahead and upload that on the website, because that way the public can see it and the whole board can see it, and we're not running afoul of open meeting law. Okay,
cool. And the other thing, while I've got you all here, is I was thinking about 40Bs and Alec's comment about what do we do with friendly 40Bs? And I've been doing a little bit of research into it, not too far, but from what I can determine, a community creates a housing production plan and a set of guidelines. And those guidelines turn out to be the standard by which 40B applications are judged against. And right now, the housing board, their guidelines are out of date. Their housing production plan is over 5 years old, and they're typically done every 5 years. And I didn't know if we should reach out to them to talk to them about what their objectives are for affordable housing, or is that something we should be looking into? Should we be reaching out to them? Alec, go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Chairperson. So rather than ask you as the ZBA to do the lift on that or to be the one inquiring, the Housing Board has gone through a bit of a period of transition with the hiring of an associate town planner who officially started last week. We'll be providing full-time staff support to the Housing Board. And one of the first exercises I intend to have Rafi, our new associate town planner, do with them is a light level of goal setting to better understand, where their objectives are. It'll align this upcoming October and November when we do the next circulation of master plan update forms. And so we'll be asking them to think critically about where their goals are now compared to where they are then. And one of the lingering questions, of course, is housing production plan and when and if they intend to move forward with a new version.
Would your new associate planner, would they be assisting with that, or do you think you would contract that update out to a third party?
We would certainly contract that out. We would go ahead and hire a consultant, likely using grant funding. But Rafi or myself would be the staff point of contact on the project and just serve as project manager.
Oh, okay. So if that comes to pass in the ensuing months, would you bring it back to the board and just update us that process is taking place? Because like I said, that's actually the rules. If we're all kind of wondering if someone came before us with a 40B, a friendly 40B, what standard would we apply in terms of approving it or denying it? And that standard is really supposed to come from the housing board. So that's, to me, that's an interesting thing. And I think it needs to be answered before I would feel comfortable approving a friendly 40B, because I need to know they're meeting some sort of criteria, and that's the board that would create it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm a fan of housing production plans to begin with. They're a good document to have. They provide protection. They, of course, help chart a path forward. But I think it's even more exciting when you do one when you're over the 10% threshold, because you can get really creative with it. It's not about survival, as some communities look at it. It's about how do we thrive now that we've reached the threshold.
Yeah, totally. So is there anything else that any of the board members would like to see in an upcoming meeting? Any issues that you or concerns? Yeah, I'm not hearing anything, so it sounds like we're ready to conclude this meeting. So Sean and Alec and I will work together to try and merge this document together and come back to the board with something that they can review, and Stefano can throw hand grenades at when he gets his chance. So I'm going to call on Dan. He had his hand raised, but then we'll go right to Sean.
I just had a random question. That email about the ADUs, the new state law, does that essentially open up every single residential lot to an ADU?
So I don't know the answer because I haven't reviewed it. But Alec, do you know?
This is non-opinionated, but that's what the way I looked at it was sort of like, hey, if you have a house, you can put a second house as long as it's half the size.
That was the way I understood it too, but I really haven't delved into it.
Yeah. In generalized terms, yes, you could say that. There is some talk that municipalities will be able to apply some basic standard of regulation to it, so long as they're not imposing on the rights or abilities. One of the things, I'm actually drafting an email, and you're all going to be included on it, but CMRPC has responded very quickly, and they're offering a training where people can attend and understand more the rollout of it and the actual implementation side. They're not going to speculate, from my understanding, on supposed impacts or perceived impacts, but they'll at least discuss the rollout and what it's going to look like and how it'll be implemented in each community. So keep an eye out for that. It's a training that doesn't happen until I think September, but I got the early invitation on it, so I'm going to circulate that out for everyone else.
So that actually, that's a great point. We typically don't get involved in bylaw development, and I think it's because we don't normally want to be a political board. But we already have an ADU bylaw, and that bylaw may well be in conflict with the new law. So that sort of bylaw development, where we're actually just updating our existing bylaw to be consistent with state law, might be something that this board might be interested in doing. Any thoughts on that in terms of us, bringing forth an article just to update our zoning bylaw to be consistent with state law? Sean?
Are we the special permit granting authority for ADUs?
ADUs are granted by right through a building permit to the building commissioner.
Okay, and there's a cap at a certain number per year.
There was, at the last pass of it, the Attorney General's office shot down the cap, but allowed the bylaw in part. So they allowed them to be granted by building permit, but cited that it would be illegal to have a cap per year.
That's amazing.
So
Well, either way, I'm going to be reviewing the thing because I'm going to have to for work. So I'll definitely come back to the board with any potential conflicts that I see in our current zoning bylaw. There will be dimensional changes and other things that might well be in conflict. Sean, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
no, I think that's right. I think this is probably something that's going to need to have a like real thought out amendment to incorporate. I think that the summary from Mead, Tallerman, and Costa is very good, and Alex sent that around, and anyone who's interested could definitely read it. It's very good, and it's circulating. It's funny, I got it twice. I got it from Alec, and then I also got it from like sort of a lawyer group. So it's definitely something that's making the rounds. But I think we should let the planning board draft the bylaw amendment.
Okay.
Well, seeing as how we're fresh off the, it's hot off the press for the planning board. We just finished it, so it's kind of disheartening to have gone through the whole process and then have the state reward it. But at this point, we're probably in as good a position as we'll ever be to kind of catch up with it if we can just pull the meat out of what the changes are. I mean, we're already, the only changes we would make on the floor of town meeting would be the ones to update our bylaw to comply with the states. So it might be an easy lift to just do it that way. And I think we should probably actually, Alec, put it on our agenda for the planning board, try and get it on for the winter town meeting, because I think we have enough time to do that. But we should know, what the uptake of it's going to be pretty shortly.
Yeah, we have some early notice this year as to the deadlines, both for winter town meeting and annual town meeting. And the planning board at the last meeting did discuss a desire to start the process early this year, with the expectation that was coming. So yeah, it'll be great, Mark, that the rest of the board, and I can get started on this early. And now we have Rafi as well to help in the process. So double the staff support to be preparing these things.
Awesome. And any other concerns or questions, comments from the board? Other than that, I think we can have a short meeting.
I just want to say one thing. Do you guys know about the CPC mail list? It's like a mail, it's a board, bulletin board. If you don't, I've been reading about this since before they made it the law, because I've been reading these mail updates. And Alec, you gave me the address to that at one point in time. And you have to subscribe to it. It's not a heavy lift, because it's kind of like you toss what you don't want, and then whatever you do, you read. But it's basically planners all over the state who are kicking around either questions that they have. I haven't I kind of lurk there. I don't really talk at all, but there's some real good info there. I found it very illuminating to see how the other towns approach things, the kind of questions that they ask, and then they're such an enormous resource there. You ask a question, you're going to get an answer from planners all over the state, even some out of the state. It's actually interesting. The ones out of the state, they say, well, this is how we do it over here. It's not like we do it here, which is always kind of interesting. So, Alec, if you would send them all a link to that mail list, I would highly recommend that you guys subscribe to it. And it's doesn't put a lot of junk in your inbox, that's for sure.
So that, I think you kind of broke up when you said it, but you're talking about this. Did you say CPTC
CPTC.
listserv, the planners listserv?
Yeah, listserv. Yeah.
The mass
Okay.
planners listserv. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
mass planners. Okay. So yeah, that's I've been a subscriber in the past with my Fitchburg email. Now I'll probably have to redo it, and but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, happy to circulate that around if anyone's interested. You're welcome to subscribe to it. Mr. Chairperson, do you mind if I just share the 3A multifamily housing working group flyer?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. So under your recently received correspondence, I've added this to your packet, but I wanted to make everyone aware. So we're doing an open call for volunteers. We've put together, or I'm putting together an advisory group to work hand in hand with myself. It's comprised of 2 planning board members and 3 members of the public. One of those members, additionally, is from the housing board. That will be Diane Friedman, who was announced at the last meeting of the housing board. But originally, I was keeping this call for volunteers open until tomorrow, but I haven't had an opportunity to go through those people who have already expressed an interest. So I'm going to be keeping it open through Friday. But given that you all tend to keep informed and aware of what's going on in Boxborough, I figured you may be having an interest in the process. All I'm asking for is someone with an open mind and a willingness to assist at public engagement opportunities and provide me fair, honest, and critical, at times, feedback as we develop 3 alternative proposed districts to give to the planning board this upcoming winter. So pretty straightforward. Just give me a call or shoot me an email if you are interested.
This is for the mass communities or the MBTA communities stuff that we need to do.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
And this is not a item that is directly related to the zoning board of appeals, so we can check with Alec on it, but I think we could have more than 3 members volunteering to work on this because it's not a ZBA meeting item. We have no say in it one way or the other. We just be participating as citizens. So I don't necessarily see an open meeting law violation if 3 of us volunteered for it. I know that I would like to volunteer for it, so I'm going to be sending Alec an email. But you guys know the bylaw well, and I'm sure you'd have a lot to contribute.
Good stuff. Yeah. Anyone's welcome to apply to it. Even if people aren't individually selected to be on the advisory group, you can still be added to the list that we're building out for constant contact on this. We're going to be doing a lot of meetings and a lot of public engagement opportunities. So plenty of stuff to follow along with, and always interested in gathering more folks to work on this. So thanks for your time.
Awesome. Does anybody else have any item they want to discuss?
You gonna do the minutes, Mark?
Oh, I didn't even see the minutes. Yeah, Alec, can you bring the minutes up? July 23rd, 2024. Okay, does anybody have any revisions that they'd like to make to the July 23rd minutes? Any updates, changes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of July 23rd, 2024.
I second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mark White,
White eye.
Sean McCormick,
McCormick, aye.
Stefano Caprara,
Stefano Caprara, aye.
Michael Toops,
Michael Toops, aye.
Dan Stunts,
Stuns eye.
and Mark Barbadoro, aye. Okay. Anything else we need to do before we head off?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
McCormick, second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mark White,
White eye.
Sean McCormick,
McCormick, aye.
Dan Stunts,
Stuns eye.
Stefano Caprara,
Stefano Caprara, aye.
Michael Toops,
Michael Toops, aye.
And Mark Barbadoro, aye.